Hey guys, it's Full Carts here, live direct from Brooklyn, New York, and I have a treat today. I have a box of 2006-2007 Parkhurst Hockey from Upper Deck. This is interesting because it's actually a Legends box. There aren't any rookie cards in it, and as you can see, it says it averages 4 autographs per box. In other words, you get 4 hard-signed autographs. You also would theoretically get 24 serial numbered cards, and expect 6 cards per pack and 24 packs per box. The base Legend set runs to 160. Above and beyond that, you can get captains, you can get enforcers like Tiger Williams. There are auto cards, and there are auto captain cards, enforcer cards, and actually dual cards. The duals run, I believe, one every 288 packs, so that would be one every 12 boxes, so don't hold your breath on that. Also, there are the signature captains and signature enforcers, which are 1 of 72, in other words, 1 per 3 boxes. So that's basically the name of the game of this product. The one thing I might sort of just stipulate is the fact that you cannot get a Gretzky. I don't believe there's a Gretzky in the box. There are potentially Bobby Orrs, and there certainly are some short print cards and auto cards. But we would essentially get a base checklist of cards from years gone by, players from years gone by, legends, etc. So this should be an interesting break. I've been wanting to break this for a bit. I got this on eBay probably for about 70 bucks, which is a pretty decent price point. And here we have our seal of disapproval. I am going to sort of pop the box open into submission. And this is what our box looks like. Pretty nice. So 2006, 2006-7 is a while back now. It's a good 11, 12 years, as you know. And here you see the signature shots, which is another Upper Deck product. These are actually really beautiful cards. I love those. That Gretzky is probably a $300 card, by the way. So here we go. So here are our packs, and let's see whether we're fortunate enough to get those autos as indicated. Let's see if it says anything about odds on here. I don't think it does. It does not. It's more mail-in information, etc. So let's see. As I said, the base set runs, so here we have Grant Fuhrer. The base set runs to 160, and above and beyond that, you have captains and stuff. So some of these cards should be numbered cards, I believe, at some point in time. But look at the base set. The base set is essentially all legends. So you have Grant Fuhrer, we have Ted Lindsay, we have Bernie Nichols, we have Reggie Lemlin, who also played with Boston. We have Bob Probert, an enforcer, and we have Reijo Ruotsalainen. And these, I believe, are all base cards. Really interesting look, all sort of slightly different shades. A bit busy, very Parkhurst-ish. Of course, we know Parkhurst from back in the 50s. The beautiful sets with Maurice Richard and so on were all on the Parkhurst from the 50s. I believe we have an insert there or something. So here's a Kelly Rudy. And this is, I believe maybe this is a captain's insert. I'm not entirely certain what this is. It could, oh, actually, I think it's just a base card, but it's sort of a static photo. We have Ronnie Hextall, who was a terror in his day. We have Bernie Federko, who I believe was what, drafted in 78, 79. So they just have the season totals. And we have Peter McNabb, and we have Don Metz of your Maple Leafs. Interesting cards thus far. Pretty much base only, but we should be guaranteed some autos. There are some decent odds on autos. I would be disappointed if we don't hit our autos. So here's J.P. Kelly. There's Dennis Podman, who was a captain. So that card runs at 100. Here's Kevin Dineen. And we have a captain insert. So here we go. So this is our first captain insert. It's a Milt Schmidt. And didn't he recently die? Milt Schmidt. Unless it was Johnny Busick. I think it was Milt Schmidt who recently died. Before Bobby Orr revolutionized Boston Bruins. This is awesome. What a beautiful card. So it's a captain's insert. Milt Schmidt, numbered to 3999. Ronnie Walter and Marcel Pronovo. Who also played on the Montreal Canadiens. Let's keep crackling. Danny Gare, Jim Poplinski, who sometimes plays in the those vet games. Oh, wow. So we got an Enforcers of Terry O'Reilly. So Terry O'Reilly was a bruiser back in the day, a tough guy, and this is one of the high numbered Enforcers card, and it's also numbered to 3999. And there's Mario. There are Marios in here apparently, and a Marion Stashny. Marion Stashny, as opposed to Peter Stashny, there are 3 brothers, I believe, and of course Paul Stashny, I believe, is maybe Peter Stashny's son, if my nomenclature is pitch perfect. So here's Barry Melrose. The other thing too is we could potentially get the Dick Irvins and the Barry Melroses and even announcers and so on. 76 on our checklist. So here we have a captain, and it is a Danny Gare captain. Really nice. Good look. Pretty clean look for the captain. I mean, it's not beautiful design, but it's not bad. There's Peter Stashny and Wilf Paymount. Hammering on. Yeah, so Jim Poplinski certainly plays in the old-timers games. I've definitely seen him wearing a sort of really lightweight helmet in recent years. He, of course, Jim Poplinski won the Stanley Cup in '89 on Canadians' home ice. There's Terry O'Reilly's base card. There's Tony Esposito, as well as Rod Langway, who he himself was a captain at some point. And we have another one of these captains, and it's Mike Foligno. Mike Foligno, who's famous for his goal celebrations, jumping and running on the ice. And another one of those numbered ones. So there's Bill Dineen, as well as Dave Semenko, who was an enforcer of some form or fashion. Okay. Continuing on here, we have Clark Gillies, whose rookie year I believe was 77, 78, or around that era. We have Richard Brodeur, who was a great goalie with Vancouver, Régent Houle of the Habs, and we have an enforcer, it's Dave Schultz, who was on the Broad Street Bullies, which was probably the scariest of the tough nut hockey teams. They did win 2 Stanley Cups in the 70s, backstopped by Bernie Perron, if you recall correctly. I think the Leafs might have drafted Bernie Perron. I'm not sure. I can't quite recall. There's Scotty Bowman. I think Scotty Bowman actually has an auto card as well, which is a short print in this thing. There's Bob Bourne, Ron Ellis, who you all know of the Leafs, and then we got Doug Gilmour's captain card. So very nice. We're getting the insert captain inserts, and then we have Alan Stanley, who I think came up with the Rangers and had a wonderful career with your Leafs, as well as Larry Robinson, who leads the entire all-time history in the NHL in plus minus, above and beyond plus 700 or something. I don't even know that record is possible to beat, although with scoring going up, who knows. But yeah, Larry Robinson, man, who also coached a couple of teams. He certainly coached LA, at least as an assistant. He certainly coached New Jersey. There's Dale Hunter. Look at the Bobby Orr. What a beautiful Bobby Orr card. You notice in the background I had the back of the Bobby Orr rookie card. And here's Dale Hunter, who's actually a pretty decent coach as well. Billy Plett, Mike Liut, who was a great goaltender back in the day. And we have Frank Advari. So this is an old school referee. That's cool. And Eddie Shack. I do have an Artifacts Eddie Shack jersey card. And I believe I probably also have Eddie Shack's rookie card from back in the day. I definitely know I have a card of his from the 60s. And here we go. Pete Peters, who was a phenom when he came up. He also played on Philadelphia, you might recall. There's Elmer Locke, who recently passed at the age of in late 90s, 97 or something, who was on the big line. There's Andy Bathgate. And we have another captains here. So here's Andy Bathgate. And, oh, cool, we have a Dale Hawerchuk. I don't know if there's a discernible difference between the Reds and the Blues. I assume they're the same. There's Michel Dion, who had one of the most famous masks in the game, as well as Patty LaFontaine, whose career was cut a bit short. He was tremendous with both the Islanders and Buffalo. But with Elmer Locke was on Toe Blake's line, big line. There's Red Kelly, who still signs autos, I believe. If he's signed autos all the way. He's still alive, I believe. There's Phil Esposito, who later was with the Rangers. Dino Ciccarelli, Kelly Kissio, Jim Rutherford, who also has one of the most famous masks, also coached, I believe. And there's Matt Snatzlin of the Montreal Canadiens. Cool. So, I mean, the base cards are really, really beautiful. Everyone tells a story, really, because they're all legends of the game. Haven't hit an auto yet, so that's sort of something we'll have to be mindful of. Lou Fontanetto, Aaron Broughton, Cam Neely, who also his career was cut a bit short because of injuries. Reed Larson is up in the press box now. So that's another Captains. Dougie Jarvis and Gary Dornhofer. And Gary Dornhofer as well ended up being a commentator. Here's Brian McFarland. So you do certainly get commentators. Crossover television success. Nice hair there. Pierre LaRouche, who was with the Habs initially. Reggie Leach. Ron Duguay, who's probably most famous for his attire and his good looks and being a stud muffin. Here's Anton Stastny, so that's the third Stastny brother, as well as Håkan Loob. So have yet to hit an auto. We're supposed to get 4 autos, and I've hit 0 of them. So should I be concerned? I don't know. You tell me. Here's Jill Meloche, Barry Beck, Howie Meeker. We have this nice Howie Meeker, and we have a captain here, and the captain would be Rob Ramage. It's pretty cool, the Howie Meeker, who used to analyze tape way before it was popular, as well as Rob Ramage, and that would be the Colorado Rockies, if you can remember them. Pretty old school stuff. Oh, Mr. Hockey. We have a Gordie Howe card. So still have not hit an auto. We must hit them in the last 8 packs. We're supposed to get 4. I'll be sad if we don't hit an auto. We get shortchanged here. Here's Yari Corey, who is on Gretzky's line. Don Popre. Oh, we have our first auto. Shall we leave it, or do you guys want to see it right here and right now? I'll save it. I'll save it. Interesting. Supposed to get 4 of them. Hopefully we'll hit another one. Sort of stat. John Ogrodnik, Ron Greschner, Wendell Clark. So here we have another auto. So let's demonstrate this one. Let's exhibit it, show it, reveal it. So there's Wendell Clark of your Toronto Maple Leafs. We have Ricky Middleton, who was just an absolute stud on the Boston Bruins in the 70s, I guess in early 80s perhaps as well. Mike Rogers, Wendell Clark, and our auto looks to be either Red Wing. Who is it? It's Joey Coker. Joey Coker is our first auto. Okay, so he is a Red Wing. It's actually sort of nice stock. The stock feels a little bit more matte as opposed to glossy, which is interesting. So that would be our first auto. Okay, worth, I don't know, that feels a bit different. I don't know if I feel different. So let's keep on going here. I've kept an auto thus far, so we've gotten 2 autos for sure. There's Jerry Cheevers, and that's interesting. That's his, I guess, his original mask. This almost looks like a rookie card image. You know, he was also famous for each time he got hit in the mask, he would draw on it. Oh, there's Butch Bouchard, Emile Butch Bouchard. He would draw on it as if he'd little lines as if he'd been scarred. One of the most famous masks in the game. This feels a bit different too, just the stock of this one for whatever reason. Oh, Stu Grimson. So we have a second auto here, and it's Stu Grimson. Okay, not the best auto, but what are you going to do? So there we have Dwayne Sutter. There's a lot of, and there's Mike Kuchelniski. There's a bunch of Sutter brothers in this checklist. Back in the day, there were just all the brothers. Marcel Dion in yellow. Oh, here's another one. It's, oh, you know what? I think it's Hextall. How much you want to bet this is Ronnie Hextall? I'd be happy with that. Jim Schoenfeld, Brian Sutter, Paul Henderson, who got the most famous Canadian goal ever. as well as Ronnie Hextall. So I got a Ronnie Hextall. That's really nice. It looks a tiny bit dinged, but it's nice to get the Ronnie Hextall. That's a really good known quantity. So we've gotten some decent ones, actually. So in theory, we have another auto there. We're only guaranteed 4, so the rest should be non-autos, I gather. We'll see. So here's Dale Howarchuk, Greg Millen, who now is a commentator. I don't like Greg Millen's color commentary, but that's just me. Here's Clint Malarchuk, who is famous for having his neck, his jugular, slashed by a skate and being saved by a trainer. There's Rod Langway, Captains. He, of course, was on the Habs as well, but he was a captain on and there's Pokey Reddick. That's pretty old school, too. And Daryl Sittler. Okay. Tom Johnson of the Montreal Canadiens. There's another Stu Grimson. There's Guy Lafleur with a helmet. So this would have been his rookie year because he subsequently dumped the bucket. Marc Tardif, another captain. He might have been involved, I'm not sure, he might have been involved in the Patrick Roy, Mike Palmatier trades through a few degrees of separation, unless I'm mistaken. Let's see what else we got here. Certainly been an interesting break. 16 minutes in. Here's Dougie Gilmore, Bill Gadsby, Mike Bossy, whose rookie year, of course, was 79-80, and Harry Howell of the Rangers. That's kind of cool. Okay, and there's a Jacques Lemaire, who was also a captain on the Habs and a coach. And there's Thomas Dean. 3 more packs, and then that one pack with the auto would be our last pack. Interesting mix of autos. And there is Mike Keenan, who has a look on his face like his face is red, like he's about to explode, which was pretty much his. Oh, there's Dick Irvin. That's very nice. We got Dickie Irvin, who was the Habs play-by-play guy for years. And there's Don Cherry. Very nice. Who's, of course, a Canadian legend for his Coach's Corner segment. And there's Dennis Potvin, captain, Clint Smith, as well as Dickie Moore. Let's see if we could spike something else if we're really lucky, or if it's all generic stuff from here on in. There's Eddie Jockerman, who was a really popular guy here in New York. Really loved and beloved. There's Bobby Hull, Brad Park, one of the best defensemen of his era, and an Enforcers of Clark Gillies, as well as this Gump Worsley. Cool. Gump Worsley, of course, played on numerous teams, including Minnesota. There's Craig McTavish. Final 2 packs here. See if it's like anything else. Nope, looks to be just another generic captain. So we got Jim Pappin, Eric Nestorenko, Danny Grant, Clint Smith, wearing the old school Blackhawks jersey from the 1939-40 season, as well as Claude Lemieux, who won some rings on multiple teams, and J.P. Parise. Okay, so finally we have this one last auto situation. So we got Scott Stevens, who was one of the toughest guys of his era. We have Milt Schmidt. We have Brian Mullen, and then we have our last auto. Who would this be? Is it a hat? It is indeed a hat. It's Ryan Walter. Oh, that's very nice. Really nice. I love it. Beautiful Ryan Walter, who won the Cup, I believe, in 86, 87, did he not? Or was he on the 93 team? I believe it was the 86-7. Very cool. So let's do a recap here of our cards. Did not get a legend auto, so that's a little bit sad, I guess, and deflating in some ways. But on the other hand, we did fairly well. So let's see what we got as a whole in this box of the Parkhurst. So in terms of captains, we got, I'm just going to try to move. So these are the base cards, just moving them out of the way. In terms of captains, we got Clint Smith, we got Dennis Podvin, we got Harry Howell, we got Mark Tardif, we got Rod Langway, we got Reed Larson, we got Dale Howardchuck, we got Dougie Gilmore, and Mike Foligno, and Danny Gare. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 captains. With regard to enforcers, we have a 11th captain, and that would be Milt Schmidt. So I'll just stack that on. And then in terms of enforcers, we got 3 of the enforcers. We got Clark Gillies, we got Dave Schultz, and we have Terry O'Reilly. So 3 bruisers. And then finally, with regard to our autos, we're guaranteed 4 autos. We got Stu Grimson, we got Joey Coker, we got Ryan Walter of the Montreal Canadiens, which is really dope, and we have Ronnie Hextall. Ronnie Hextall. So that's it, man. I mean, it's kind of an interesting break. So you're guaranteed 4 autos. The price point is sort of low. You can get them for about $70, I believe, online. An interesting break. Really, strangely, unusually, it's really pretty much more about the base cards and sort of the history of all these legends and so on. So we have Mr. Hockey's, and we have Don Cherry's and Bossy's and all kinds of goodies. Everybody has, a storied history, which is pretty interesting and great. And so including the Bobby Orr car and the Bobby Hull card. So that's it, man. That was a really interesting break of the 2006-2007 Parkhurst from Upper Deck on Fulton Cards. So I'm live and direct from a place called Brooklyn, New York.